Very good morning, students. Today we are going to see about the topic types of beam, types of load and reactions. These three things have to see simultaneously to know about the facts behind the things. Since the load are carried by the beams and the beams are supported by the reaction supports, so it has to be seen together. Right. First introduction. What's my beam? Beam is to be a structural element which is capable of withstanding transverse load. That is named as to be a beam. These beams are supported or kept in position by supports. So it is named as a support. There are different types of support. We will see those things in the next slide. These supports helps the beam to held in position and also keep this in equilibrium. And third thing we are going to see about the load. Load are the forces acting on the structures that has to be transferred through the supports to the ground. These are the types of support we are going to see by here. In general, there are four types of supports. The first is fixed, then simply supported, roller support and hinged support. We see this all the four one by one in the upcoming slides. The first thing is fixed support. The fixed support, see this, the beam element is fixed to the rigid surface through some bolts or rivets we may see here. These things keep the beam get rigidly attached. It cannot be bent or twist easily. Keep them as a straight and fixed thing. This beam end resists to take away any kind of translation or bending moment also. There is a fixed support. This support cannot be, this support resists horizontal loads, vertical load and moment. Then it is a simply supported beam. As the name says, it is freely rest over the support. These beams are just placed above the supports. That's the thing. And it is free to move in any direction. This beam can move in horizontal, vertical, and movement also takes place here. That is the main thing in simply supported beams. Look at here, these beams are just placed over a support. That's the thing. Then third support we are going to see about the roller support. Roller support is capable of movement to the respected beam. Connected to it may be along normal to guide, or it can rotate along the support as we can see. See, if we applied a vertical load on this chair, rolling chair, it can withstand. If you apply the horizontal force, what will happen? The chair will roll away from a fixed position. This shows this type of supports only carry the vertical loads only. It can't withstand horizontal load, it can't withstand any moment. So roller support can resist only one load, that is vertical. So it carries only the vertical reactions alone. Next type of support is hinged support. The best example is for the hinged support is we may see the hinges in the doors. See, there are here the hinges are placed aligned. Okay, this hinges makes the element to get fixed in a position, but the moment only permitted. That's the thing. Is a special advantage of the hinged support. The movement of the beam in any direction, but it will allow the beam to rotate about the support. It can rotate about the supports only. In this hinged support, it arrests vertical load and horizontal loads. The moment only we permitted here. It can withstand two types of the load. Number one is vertical and horizontal. It gets restricted. While applying the horizontal vertical load, the support won't move. Will not permit the element to move away. But moment only gets permitted to take place the action. Then types of beam. Types of beams here. We may see the 6 types of beams are listed here. The first thing is fixed beam and cantilever, beam with one end hinged, other end roller, then simply supported beam, overhanging beam and continuous beam. These are the 6 types of beams mainly see in structures. We will see this one by one on the way. First we see about the fixed beam. Fixed beam. The beam which is having a fixed support at both the ends. It is named to be fixed beam, and we can see some animated and real examples of this also there. In RC structures, the beam placed between the two columns is to be a fixed beam. In frame structures or RC structures, we may see the beam is placed over the column. It is to be in fixed nature. That is the best example for the fixed beam. The beam is get inserted to the column or the support. So it restricts horizontal, vertical and movement. All the 3 things are get restricted here. Okay, that is the advantage of the fixed beam. Next we see about the cantilever beam. Cantilever beam. See these examples. It has only one support and doesn't have a support here. The same. One end is fixed and other end is free. That is to be a cantilever beam. One end is get fixed. One support is the fixed support. Other end is free. It doesn't have any support. That is named to a cantilever beam. It has fixed support at one end and other end is free. It is known to be a cantilever beam. See this balconies and elevator structures. The machine lathe are the example of this type of the beams. Next we are going to see about the one end hinged, other end is roller. See this. In this beam, one end has hinged support. This is the symbol of the hinged support. Other end has a roller. It is a symbol for the roller support. What is the advantage of this means? If the beams get elongated due to high amount of stress or thermal stress or internal reactions, the beam has to be expanded in somewhat amount. At that time, this extension has to be get permitted, or else it will lead to other type of stresses, lead to a failure also. So one end is hinged here, other element is permitted to elongate and contract by a small amount. So it will get elongated or get contracted by a small amount. It will be get permitted. See the live example of this. It is the beam girder of a bridge. See this, the person is standing here. The size of the person is and size of the support. Just compare. What is the dimension, overall dimension of the support and the beam? There will be some space is noticed here. Due to thermal expansion or other things, it may get expanded or contracted up to this amount. Simply supported beam. It is a live example for simply supported beam. I find what type of structure is this. Once upon a time, Microsoft Windows desktop picture is this. Okay, come to this type of. In this, the beam is simply supported over the elements. How the beam will withstand? Due to its self-weight. Due to its self-weight, the beam get placed in the position. This type of simply supported nowadays we are using in girders, in bridges and girders. The piers are raised up and the girders are placed over them. Above that, the road surface final layer are placed there. The girder is just simply supported over the piers. Okay. Then overhanging beams. Overhanging beams, the beam has stretched outer above the support span length. That is named to be overhanging beam. These are the examples of the overhanging beam. Sometimes overhanging beams are used for elevation purposes also. One and or both end, and the extension after the support is the real term here. Next, it should be a continuous beam. Continuous beam has more than two supports. That's the thing. Till now, for the cantilever we see one support, other simply supported or overhanging we have two supports. If it is had more than two support, 3 or 4 or 5, then it will categorize it under continuous beam. Bridges is the best example. Long span bridges are the best example of continuous beams. Then we come under the third category, loads. We see beam and supports. Earlier we see about the supports. Why the beam supports are there? It has to be carry the load placed over the beams. There are in general there are three types of loads: point load, uniformly distributed load, and uniformly varying load. These are the major categories of load. First thing is a point load. A load acting in single point is named to be a point load. The example you may see there, a nail is inserted into a wooden piece or a wall element. In this, the load is applied at a particular point alone. This shows the load concentrated at a single point. That is named to be point load or concentrated load. The load acted at a single point is named to be a point load. Next is uniformly distributed load. First we go from this example. See a long pipe, the load is transferred to this plate of the track. From each and every point the load is get transferred to here. It won't act at a point. This UDL load, uniformly distributed load, throughout the length of the element. Then it's named to be uniformly distributed load. See the example, 1000 Newton per meter. What is the total length? 1000 meter. This shows load acting each and every meter length of the beam spread on some length of the beam. Okay, the unit of the UDL load is Newton meter. The intensity is distributed along the length of the UDL. Shortly it is represented as a UDL, so using the term. Next we are going to see about uniformly varying load. Uniformly varying load. See this, the load intensity rises throughout the length from B to A. Uniformly. Okay, the below is a UDL load, the above thing is the triangle shaped load is there. I draw it, so it is UDL load, uniformly varying load. The best example for this is construction of steps using brick masonry alone. If we construct a steps, see this, the load intensity rises. We may fix the rise constant all over the steps. So the load rises evenly throughout the length, then it is categorized under uniformly varying load. That is the main thing here. Okay, the load intensity changes uniformly throughout the length. Okay, have I got my point? That is named as uniformly varying load. Okay, here I summarize what we have seen in this presentation. First, we see about the types of supports. The main or three types of supports are there: hinged support, roller support, fixed support. And simply supported, the beam is placed just over the supports. The major category are fixed support, roller support, and hinged support. And second thing we see about the beams. Beams firstly categorized as fixed beam. The both ends are fixed. It is to be fixed beam, and one end is fixed, other end is hinged. Means one end fixed support, other end is hinged support is there. And cantilever beam, it has only one support. One end is fixed, other end is free. Then overhanging beam means the beam length is more when compared to the distance between the two supports. It stretches on both the directions or in one side. Okay, these are the main things seen in beam. And come to loads. Major, there are three types of load: point load, UDL load, uniformly varying load. These are the main categories of the load in our solid mechanics. Thank you.